Hello everyone. So this video is in regards to the super full moon in Taurus and what that means for all signs. One of the reasons I'm doing this video is because unpredictable Uranus is tightly conjunct this full moon, and the Scorpio sun is opposing them both. So there are also equally important aspects happening at the same time. We have powerful oppositions, sometimes squares, and we do have trines and sextiles going on as well. Um, we have stationing planets to go direct. Some will be going retrograde. So there is a lot going on. And you may have already been feeling some of this energy, and especially this super full moon. But this energy will last a few days, if not weeks more. Sorry. So in this video, I will first briefly explain the sign of Taurus and Scorpio, a little on the moon, and Uranus, and breakdown of the other dynamics, and finally what that means for each sign. So just to note here is that this is not going to be there is a change coming, because we are already in the midst of change. We have moved from water signs and we're going into fire signs for the most part. So the internal work, our feelings, emotions, conversations have been had, and we will now externalize these changes, some of which have already been externalized. So, in other words, these actions and conversations will mark a before and after in our lives. So, sometime in the future, you will harken back to this day or this month or this week and say, "Ah, yeah, that's when it all began. That's when it all ended," and so forth. Okay. Now, this Taurus super full moon is at 24 degrees, and it is one of the last, the last, one of the last four consecutive supermoons of this year. This Taurus full moon is the ending or a culmination of the new moon in Taurus earlier this year on May 8th that we started on the journey on. At that time, we either began a new opportunity in our Taurus related houses or planted the seeds of what we wished for and started working at it on it. And now it is wrap up time. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about Uranus, because Uranus is the wild card here. Uranus is tightly conjunct the full moon. It is at 25 degrees. Uranus is the planet of electricity, magnetism, lightning, storms. It rules innovation. It is quite unpredictable. It is very imaginative. It has idiosyncratic or quirky energies, as in the mad scientist, or, excuse me, the unorganized genius. Uranus rules the emotionally unattached genius of the zodiac, Aquarius. And I'm not saying Aquarians don't have feelings. I'm just saying they don't display them much. But they're like hard candy. Once you get past that hard shell, they're all gooey inside. Uh, of course, Uranus abhors any type of structure, um, tradition, like confining this tradition, or any type of confinement for that matter. And it will break free at any cost. And with the most important aspect of Pluto having transformed and leaving Capricorn after 15 long years and just a few days it will leave, there have been many disruptions with tradition. Disruptions as in transformations, okay? With tradition and stability. So, for example, government. We saw the comeback king of Donald Trump and the election. Uh, it has transformed contractual partnerships, which is inclusive of business partnerships and family relationships, especially with the mother or matriarchy. So, like I said, the transformation has been talked about, and the struggle has been internal for the most part, but now begins the external. Some of us are hesitant, maybe anxious or uneasy about making changes, and that is why Uranus is here. Uranian energy is coming in to force this physical change, to jumpstart from internal to the external, and to break free of any um, stagnant or confining situations. Now, that is the hardest part because it will affect relationships on all levels. Remember, we have the North Node in Aries, which rules independence, and we have the South Node in Libra, which rules all kinds of relationships. Okay, so First off, Taurus is the bull, and it is determined to getting things done that make us feel good. Taurus is a very compassionate sign. It is a fixed sign ruled by Venus. It likes the finer things in life. Um, so, like silk or creamy, silky ice cream. Taurus wants to feel safe, secure, and full, as in a full belly and a full bank account. Taurus is the money sign. Natally, it is the second house of job, income, and and value system. Uh, and as you know, if you don't know, there is a bronze bull in front of the New York Stock Exchange. Taurus can be generous with its feelings and time, reserving any material things to itself, and will only share those things if it has a substantial return on its investment. Taurus can be quite possessive and stubborn. That would be the negative side, but I'm not going to say too much about the negativity because, like I said, I want to keep this brief. Okay. Now, note a little hint here. In your natal chart, look at where your Venus is and your second house. Taurus rules the second house, like I said. Um, and Venus is what you exude. The what it is who you attract, okay, and how you are seen by the other or other people. So look at the second house and look at where your Venus is. Those two aspects determine your Taurian traits, okay. Now the moon, of course, rules in nurturing Cancer, and Cancer is a family and home oriented sign, but it is quite comfortable in Taurus as well, except for the points of Taurus being an earth sign and being stubborn or too patient. It waits a long time to make a decision. And obviously, it's not a water sign like Cancer. So the emotions are um, as not in depth as much uh, as it would be in Cancer. I mean, I'm not saying that Taurans don't don't have emotional capacity. They very much do so, but not as flowing as a Cancer would be. Basically, Taurus is empathetic, but finds it hard to, let's say, be overly emotional or go with the flow with emotions. Where Cancer would be comfortable and understand someone who would cry or rage. Taurus would probably be surprised at these feelings. Let me briefly explain Scorpio's role here. So the Sun is in Scorpio, opposing this full moon. Scorpio is an intensely emotional sign, and you can see when you look at a Scorpio, even their colors are intense, black or deep purple, like dark brown, shiny brown. I mean, there are translucent ones, but Scorpios lay in wait. What I mean is Scorpios are deep hidden emotions that lay in wait to act upon, and when it is acted upon, it's fast. So if you ever see the animal, the scorpion animal, where if you look at it just exudes danger and intensity, but it stands completely still when it's found out. So it's judging, testing, and reconciling what it's going to do. Then once it acts, like I said, it is swift. If Taurus is possessive and wants to hoard things, Scorpio is excessive, to want to discard things what we don't need. So with Taurus, we take in the mouth, and then Scorpio, we let out the other way. um, Now, why is this going to be tough? This full moon and with Uranus. Well, the obvious part is what I noted above: is that relationships, especially nurturing relationships, your roots and traditions, they are fighting to say, well, you can't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Okay, and that is why we are seeing a lot of sun moon oppositions. We had September's full moon in Pisces opposing the Virgo sun. Pisces is empathy, and Virgo is analytical. October's Libra eclipse, so Libra's relationships, and it opposed um, Aries moon, which is independence. And now this Taurus, which is a material sign or stability, is opposing Scorpio. Scorpio is the intense emotional commitments, and so on and so on. Plus, the moon is, like I said, ruled by Cancer, so nurturing mother. And we had Mars in Cancer, so a lot of family dynamics have been going on. And now Mars is in Leo, and Leo is the father. Leo natally rules the fifth house of love, children, pets, our beloved pets, creativity, and gambling. So you see many cardinal signs here. Cardinal signs are the boss. They are the judge, jury, and somewhat the executioner. And we follow their lead. Okay? Oh, and also a hint here, planets show us what is happening, signs show us how it is happening, and houses show us where it is happening. Let me just tell you about some aspects that are happening on the same day. So we know the Taurus full supermoon is at 24 degrees, and it is tightly conjunct Uranus at 25 degrees, and the Scorpio sun is opposing it. We also have Venus is in Capricorn, and it is squaring the nodal axes of Aries and Libra. So Aries is independence, and Libra rules all kinds of relationships. The North Node is in Aries, and the South Node is in Libra. And this can mean like internally, because it's a square, it's internally reconciling between commitments and separation, between relationship and independence. And it is already square Neptune in Pisces, but that is separating. This full moon will trine Pluto, sitting at the critical 29 degrees of Capricorn, and sextile Neptune in Pisces. So we will recognize our newfound power and apply it compassionately. Okay. And then the moon will square Mars in Leo. It is a separating aspect. Again, our emotions, our internal emotions, are just are rubbing up against actions. So we'll go through that. Saturn will station direct in Pisces. It has been retrograde for a few months, 4 or 5 months. So now it will station direct. I just want you to pay attention to the day of before, of, and after, or a couple of days here, because when a planet stations retrograde or direct, it is very powerful, and the veil is lifted. You can get like a picture or a message of what's going on. Mercury in Sagittarius will square Pisces, Saturn in Pisces. That's separating. We have a big one. Mercury in Sagittarius will oppose Jupiter in Gemini, and that is applying. So we'll talk about that opposition in your scope. And Jupiter in Gemini will square Saturn in Pisces. That's also applying. And Mars in Leo, this was the big one that we had, opposes Pluto in Capricorn. And I mentioned this also in your November scopes. I detailed those. It is separating, but it's a powerful one. We're going to feel it for a long time. And then Chiron, the wounded healer, or the maverick, is in Sagittarius. So some kind of hurt, past regret, or what have you. Hi Pisces, I hope you guys are doing well. So I wanted to do a short video regarding the super full moon in Taurus, because there is a powerful opposition and a wild, crazy conjunction that I just wanted you guys to be aware of in the event it may take you by surprise. And because there are a lot of other planetary aspects happening on these same few days. So there is a lot going on about around us. And I didn't want you guys to be in the dark. Now, first, please do try to listen to the intro, as it does give you more detail and a backstory on Taurus, Scorpio, and the Uranian energy that are all involved, inclusive of other planetary things going on simultaneously. And these planetary aspects, I will not go into detail here for each sign. So listening to the intro will let you know what's going on with those other planets. Also remember, if you want a clearer picture, listen to your sun, moon, and ascendant signs. And you can get that from your natal birth chart. If you do not have it, just go to Google and Google free birth charts and pick one of the websites. Okay, so we have a super full moon in the sign of Taurus at 24 degrees. And unpredictable and jolting Uranus is tightly conjunct this moon at 25 degrees. And the Scorpio sun is in opposition to this, to all of this. Taurus is your third house of neighbors, neighborhood, communication devices, commuting, and it can include cars, your own car, I mean, siblings, cousins, and also social media falls in this house. So this may be a surprising or abrupt ending in regards to your third house of communication and commuting. Okay, so maybe, I mean, it can be as mundane as you're losing your phone, so be careful, or the car not starting, or maybe you get locked out of your place or something. It can be as mundane, but um, but the point here is your ninth house of long distance travel, foreigners, foreign people, foreign places, higher education, the World Wide Web. That house either does not want an ending with your third house of communication and commuting, um, or your ninth house, something that you've been working on, long distance travel maybe, uh, is causing an ending or change in your third house of short distance travel. So you may be like planning a trip, and it might be for a long time, and you will end some kind of third house activity here. It might be temporary, and it might not. But before I start speculating a few scenarios, let us first think back to 2018, when Uranus first entered Taurus and started changing your third house. So prior to 2018, your neighbors, your communication, or your cell phones, or your cars, social media was pretty much stable, predictable, um, unconsequential. But once Uranus entered Taurus around the end of April 2018, it has been disruptive. And almost every year, something uh, surprising, jolting is happening with either cars, cell phones, communication breaking down, um, siblings or cousins that you need to like hop on over really quickly, uh, or social media you're posting and the replies or comments that have taken you aback or surprised you. For example, I have one of my Pisces friends that in 2020 she was carjacked. Unfortunately, I know, but it can manifest in that way, in the surprising aspect. Okay. Um, let's see. Now you are a mutable sign, and adapting to any kind of disruption or surprise here would not cause you really major discomfort. Um, and actually, most of you have had maybe the tedious detail regarding your third house that has had you scrambling back and forth. Maybe it has to do with cars, um, maybe phones, um, and so forth. In any case, this may be another surprising ending to your neighborhood, or the routine that you go back and forth with, or you might be selling off a car or getting another car. I just see a lot of cars in Pisces charts, and social media. Social media is like lighting up like a Christmas tree here. And the surprise ending is Uranus is triggering it. Okay. But again, it's opposed by your ninth house. I gave you a couple scenarios on that. Um, there was one thing that I wanted to. Well, you do have a lot of errands that you run back and forth with, because there's I could you see like you're taking care of a lot of people, like one, two, three, four, five. Like there's different situations, or maybe that's part of your job. Maybe you drive for work. Maybe you're a caseworker, um, or maybe you're just like a mom dropping off kids at practice and school and picking up groceries or whatever. But there's just your neighborhood. You're all over your neighborhood, and cars just keeps lighting up. And your ninth house is opposed to this. So maybe, like I said, you're planning a travel, and all this running back and forth needs to end, or you need to delegate it off so that you can deal with your ninth house. Or if you're a student, it might be finals are coming in, and you can't do errands, or you're relying heavily on um, tech, computers, phones here. Um, but whatever you have that you're relying on will be disrupted because you need more. It looks like it's a more reliable form of communication or commuting or social media. All right, sorry, there's work that's been done outside that's going on outside, and I have the windows closed, but the noise might be, you might hear it in the background. I apologize about that. In any case, whatever this ending is, Uranus values freedom over any confinement, even at the risk of any disruption, an abrupt disruption at that. And you may later on appreciate it. I mean, like at the time it happens, even if you think it's a negative. Um, so just as an example, I'm not saying it'll happen, but just as an example that you need to get somewhere and your car breaks down. Um, it might be really frustrating at that time, but it will save you from something else. Okay? Uranus is quirky like that. It's idiosyncratic. All right? uh, so it sets up situations where it can free you of any confining space that you may be currently in. All right? And another clue that may help you identify what this ending may be related to is think back to earlier this year, May 8th to be specific. There was a new moon in Taurus. So whatever opportunity that came up with your third house, or you planted the seeds of and have you have been working on, we now see the culmination of it. We now see the fruition of your efforts. Or, like I said, if it does not serve your purposes, it is ending. I can't go to another room because even the other room, this noise is coming through. It doesn't bother me. I just hope it doesn't bother you guys. I apologize. There's nothing I can do. All right, getting back to this. Now, there are a couple of squares and oppositions happening on the same day that are contributing factors. And those are inclusive of, let's see, your fourth house of home and family is all up in the mix. Your 10th house of career and status and authority figures, so maybe bosses here, or anyone who holds some kind of authority over you. Um, of course, you have powerful friends here that you're wrapping up this last issue or situation. That'll immediately clear up in a few days on the 19th when Pluto leaves Capricorn and enters Aquarius, and you'll feel like an instant relief here. And also there is something going on in the background, some sort of behind the scenes project that you're working on, or a secret that you're not ready to reveal. And your first house of self and persona, and that can relate to social media. What else do we have? Yeah, that's about it. And you are, yes, sixth house is coming up loud and clear. So you do have a lot of errands, routines, scheduling. Just be careful of your health. Keep on top of that. Drink lots of water and get lots and lots of sleep. All right. Now, I don't really see a big conflict with this ending, as much as it may be like a blessing in disguise, pushing you over that edge. Uranus is the rules Aquarius, the genius of the zodiac. So Uranian energy is like the mad scientist or the unorganized genius. um, so, like I mentioned, if it is uncomfortable at the time, you'll see later on. You'll appreciate it later on. And these energies are all about change. We're moving from water signs to fire signs, and Pluto, of course, is leaving Capricorn and going to Aquarius. So we're not setting up change. We are smack dab in the middle of change. So this surprise ending will feel like a before and after moment. So a few months in the future, or maybe next year, you'll be like, oh yeah, it was that day that this happened, that changed, or that week, or what have you. So it is a before and after. My God, whatever they're doing outside feels like they're fighting. All right, let us move on to the other thing is with these planetary aspects that are happening here. Um, I did go over them in detail in your November horoscope. So if you haven't listened to that, or if you want to listen to it again to get a refresher, if I'm not making sense here, um, it'll just help you understand more clearly. But here's the disclaimers now. So, full moons in general, let alone super full moons, conceal more than they reveal. There is a hidden aspect that you will not know of. I know many and many other astrologers say, oh, a full moon illuminates something. Uh, yes, I mean, because you're going through whatever it is, but there is still a hidden factor that you will not be aware of. Plus, we are in Scorpio season, and Scorpio is inherently secretive. It rules the house of secrets and taboos. And Aquarius is your 12th house of behind the scenes and your psyche. And we're coming up on that as well. So, what I'm trying to say is because there's so much hidden stuff and secrets and backroom deals and what have you, I I would discourage any hardline decisions on a full moon. Any, uh, not life altering, but anything that alters in a huge way a decision you make. Give yourself time. Give others time. Uh, for some of you, there's uh, a child or two that you're busy with too. So give your children time, or a parent or an older person that you might be taking care of. Because this energy of the full moon, you've been already feeling it. Um, it peaks today in the afternoon, but the full peak of it will last another 3 days, and energy will reverberate for another week, if not weeks. So if you can, try to avoid decisions on this day or the next day or a few days, because the emotions are super high here. Okay, and we have unpredictable Uranus that that scares me. Uranus really gives me a scare. And we also have Mars racing through Leo. Um, Leo is your sixth house. Yeah, your sixth house of routine, scheduling, health, and generally it's the house of chaos. If one thing is thrown off balance, all other things are thrown off balance. So you have uh, Mars, the god of war and action and heat, is just pedal to the metal here. Please be careful driving, is the other thing. Just slow down. Um, and Mars in Leo will be retrograding all the way back into Cancer. And Cancer is your fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity. And it will go forward then again over these two signs. And we also have Mercury retrograding in Sagittarius. It's also already shadow retrograde. And that is your 10th house of career, status, reputation, and authority figures. Um, So yeah, give yourself some. Just a lot of stuff going on, and if it wasn't your sixth house involved and your third house, I'd be like, yeah, but your third house is involved. Your sixth house of chaos is involved. You're running around all over the place here. There's one, two, or more people that you're taking care of, and you're driving a lot. Yeah, just slow down. Slow down. And yeah, so that is the ending of that. I just wanted you guys to know that there's some kind of ending, but it's your third house. It's not really a huge super deal, but there is a surprising factor to this. I'm not trying to make light of it. I mean, there could be a scenario where, you know, somebody is bullied online and something surprising happens there, which can be very frustrating or can be traumatic. It's just Uranus. You never know what to expect with with this mad scientist. um, in any case, that's why I wanted to do this video so that if something volatile, um, or something disruptive comes in, you'll understand that uh, it is the Uranus energy. And again, Uranus is just, they don't, planets don't hate us or try to put us in uh, situations where they're super harmful to us. What Uranus is trying to do is to break you free of this. There's a confining situation regarding your communication house and commuting, and you will come to appreciate it later on. Also, pay attention to these few days because Saturn in Pisces, your own sign, will station direct. So you've had a reprieve the last 4 or 5 months um, when Saturn was retrograde. Um, so something about your appearance, um, clothes you wear, your hair, your profile online, or just your profile, plastic surgery, weight loss, weight gain. Um, you have been changing quite a bit. And ever since Neptune came to its home sign of your sign, Pisces, since Valentine's Day 2012. And um, so Neptune, creates fog and idealism. Um, so something about you changing might have gone overboard, or maybe you lost too much weight, or maybe you've gained too much weight. And the boundaries have been foggy, and Saturn has come in the last 2 years and started pulling you back to shore, setting up strong foundations for you, setting up boundaries that, okay, you did this plastic surgery, that's enough, because it'll affect you some other way. I mean, just as an example. Or tattoos, okay, that's enough, because you know whatever, and maybe the next time it'll be a dangerous thing, and so on and so forth. So Saturn is waking up, and it will station direct, and it'll check up under the hood and see if everything's going as planned. If not, Saturn will help you again put up those boundaries so that it doesn't go too far. But for this purposes, I'm mentioning it is I want you to be aware of these 2, 3, 4 days that this uh, giant of a planet, this outer planet that causes slow grinding change, um, when it stops still in the sky, even though it is granted, per our observation, but when it stands still like that, it is a powerful planet. Just that hum stops. It's still humming. It's still vibrating. But what it does is it lifts the veil. So you get a picture or a message or a sign. And you're a very, very intuitive sign. And your intuition is uh, sky high because Neptune is in your sign. So you can catch the clue really fast on that. All right, but just because your third house and sixth house is involved, please be careful driving. And I hope the best for you, Pisces. I hope I have informed you, if not entertained you in some way or enlightened you. And if so, please do consider subscribing. It's free. Besides, half of you who listen are not subscribed, or at least smash the like button. It really does help me. And I will talk to you guys in December, if not earlier, because I have promised other dedicated videos that I may be uploading depending on my schedule. So that's another reason to subscribe, so you can get notified if I do post other videos before December. All right, Pisces, you take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you soon. Hi, Aries. Oh my gosh, Aries. So just when I got up this early morning to record this, the city workers are like right outside chopping down branches, and they're quite loud. Even if I go to another room, it's not going to make much difference. The noise isn't bothering me. I just hope it doesn't bother you. And it's the city. I don't know when they'll be done. They might take the whole entire day because they're just going down this block. So I apologize, but just try to concentrate on my voice. Just blur everything out. I will listen to it after. If it sounds absolutely horrible, I'll re-record it, but I just can't guarantee when I'll upload it if it takes them the whole day. So let us start. Aries, I wanted to do a short video horoscope scope regarding the super full moon in Taurus for you guys because there is an opposition to this full moon, and there's a crazy wild conjunction from Uranus to the moon that I just wanted you guys to be aware of in the event it may take you by surprise, and because also there are a lot of other planetary aspects happening on the same few days. So there's a lot going on. Okay. First, please do try to listen to the intro as I give you more detail on Taurus, Scorpio, and their Uranian energy. Uh, and again, inclusive of the other planetary aspects in play that I will not go into detail here for each sign because I'm doing it in the intro. Also, remember, if you want a clearer picture, listen to your sun, moon, and ascendant signs. And if you don't have that, you can get it from your natal chart. If you don't have a natal chart, you can Google free birth charts and then get it through there. You can get it instantly. Okay, Aries. So we have a super full moon in the money sign of Taurus, at 24 degrees, and that is your second house of job, income, and your value system. And while Uranus is tightly conjunct this moon at 25 degrees, and the sun in Scorpio, your eighth house of joint finances, intimacy, um, taxes, credit, bank loans, government benefits, secrets, and taboo, is opposed to this super full moon. Okay? Now, this super full moon is the fourth and last consecutive super full moon for this year. Um, so this, you either are, well, before I get into speculation, let me just point out a couple of things. So this ending is triggered by Uranus, and this ending might be surprising or abrupt or disrupting. Um, and but your eighth house of joint finances is not wanting this end in your second house of job and income. So maybe you are either taking a sabbatical or quitting or um, looking for another job, or there's a lateral move, or maybe uh, uh, some kind of something having to do with the money you earn that your joint finances is feeling the pressure of. So it doesn't want this ending in your second house of job and income. And I'm not going to say much about that because that's just self-explanatory. Or this your job or income is ending because of a joint finances um, opposition. Maybe you're getting pregnant and your partner makes enough money where they say, you can just sit home and have the baby or something like that. Or it might be a partnership or a business deal. There is a dual option here, like a dual choice binary thing. So um, you might have more than one offer and you're picking one and ending the other, but your intimate partner is opposed to it. It could be that kind of a scenario, or it could be the culmination, fruition of your past efforts here, that you end one position and maybe go on to another position. All right, so that those are a couple scenarios regarding the opposition. Now, let us look back to 2018, so I can give you an overarching theme. Uh, 2018 is when Uranus first entered Taurus, and started like shaking up your job and income house, your value system. So prior to 2018, uh, you would be able to describe your job maybe boring or predictable, or you were just bored of it. You wanted something new, exciting, and so forth. And once Uranus did enter Taurus, around the end of April 2018, everything changed. It flipped sometimes on its head, and inside out. And almost every year, you've been having either surprising events taking place at your job, or your bosses could have been Uranian type of people, like genius money people, um, and they've been just enlightening you on different things. Or you might have gone into like the stock market, made a lot of money that way, crypto market, and so on and so forth. I mean, I can speculate forever. There could be a myriad of examples. All right. Um, in any case, this surprise ending also, if you want to narrow it down to what it can be about, we had a new moon in Taurus on May 8th this year, earlier this year. Sorry, I'm going to take a drink of water. Okay, and whatever new opportunity that was presented to you back then, or whatever seed you planted back then, and you've been diligently working on it, you might see not an ending, but a fruition, a culmination of those past efforts, and it might take you by surprise for some reason. Um, what Uranus usually does, okay, so where you think you're going, if Uranus is involved, it just picks you up and cranks you around, or shifts you abruptly to another route. So the surprise might be, you've been working on this certain position, or this raise, or upgrade, and you may be surprised with them offering you even more, or you get a headhunter working with you, and they find you something absolutely ideal. Um, I just don't understand why your eighth house is opposing this, but I'm sure you have a clue. Um, yeah, but I don't know if I mentioned this. Uranus does value freedom over any type of confinement, even at the risk of disruptions, may they be volatile or not. And what the thing is about Uranus, and you're used to this energy, you own the zodiac. So these are all in their natal positions for you. So you're used to Uranus and how Uranus works. Like at the time, whatever the disruption is we don't like it, or we get frustrated about it. But in a few weeks or a month or the next year, you'll be like, oh my God, thank God that happened. Thank God that disruption happened. Thank God that intervention happened. And this is a before and after moment, because we are seeing huge changes. We've internalized um, these changes, and now because the water signs are leaving and the fire signs are coming in, we are externalizing these changes. Okay, so this is a before and after moment too, so that in the future you will look back and say, oh yeah, it was on November 20th that this whole thing turned around. Or you'll recognize the before and after moment, is what I'm trying to say. Because Uranus does value freedom over confinement, like I said, and it is the mad scientist. It does rule the genius of the zodiac, Aquarius. So they see much further than we do, and we're just bewildered by their actions. But they're actually genius actions that they take on our behalf, or make us take that. And besides, you're an Aries. You're a fire sign. You're a me first sign. You need to be out there in front of everyone, leading everyone. So Uranus breaking you free out of some type of confining money or job situation uh, will actually be um, not spiritually, but like mentally liberating for you. Okay. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this because I'm like getting distracted by these city workers. They're like all up in my face. Um, but I will, at the risk of being repetitive, I will mention it again. So if you, oh yes, I did mention it. Never mind. I was saying about the new moon in Taurus on May 8th. Um, whatever happened then, or whatever seed you planted then, this is the bookend. This is the culmination of it. Now, there are a couple of squares and oppositions that other planets are doing and happening on the same day that are contributing factors. And for you, it is your 12th house of secrets and behind the scenes project. Um, Fifth house of love, romance, and children is in the mix as well. You have your ninth house of long distance travel, foreigners, higher education, publication. Um, there's a lot of heat there, and it's triggering an ending with this moon and the Scorpio sun. You also have Uranian, quirky, genius friends coming in the fray. Um, and of course, your 10th house of career status and folk and authority figures uh, is wrapping up its mission with that last one debate or push pull opposition that happened, and we're still feeling the energy of the vibration of that, and we'll feel it for a little much longer than anticipated. But once Pluto does exit Capricorn on the 19th, just in a few days, and enters Aquarius, you will feel very, very much liberated. It will be just like a breath of fresh air. Not that Capricorn isn't a breath of fresh air. How we all need Capricorn, but it'll be just a different energy, and it will involve your friends, Uranian friends, genius friends, groups and associations. And then we have your third house of communication and social media or siblings all in the fray. Uh, but I'm not going to go into detail on that because, like I said, this is a small scope. If you want to know more about those aspects and those planets, just listen to your November horoscope. I go into detail for the whole month. If you haven't listened to it, or if you need a refresher, just go to the playlist, and it's in November's playlist. You can find it that way. Okay. The only other thing I think I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not. I'm going to mention it again because of these stupid city workers. I've recorded yours almost 30 times already. So we have Saturn stationing direct in Pisces, and Pisces is your 12th house of secrets and behind the scenes. So for the last 4 or 5 months since it's been retrograde, you've had a reprieve here. You've been able to hide away and live in your own world, say, or you've been maybe working on a project behind the scenes, but you've put it on a back burner for the past 4 or 5 months, or not worked on it as hard. Boundaries may have slipped, and it may have gone here nor there. So now Saturn is back to check up under the hood and see where you're at, and if these boundaries have um, blown away and you're in the middle of the ocean again, he will help you to put up those boundaries and pull you back to shore, uh, and get you on the path. Saturn, and you're used to Saturn's energy as well. Um, it really gives you the energy and the persistence of seeing something through. So um, just pay attention to these few days, because when a planet such as Saturn, an outer planet like that, a heavy duty planet like that, stands still in the sky, granted, it is our observation of it that does that, but it is vibrating just humongous energies. And when it stations like that, the veil is lifted, where you get a message, or you get a clue, or you see a picture in your mind's eye that gives you a clue of where this is going. Okay, and both Saturn and Neptune will leave Pisces next year. But again, that's in your November scope, so you can listen to that. And the Mars Pluto opposition is still ringing. We do have a Mercury and Sagittarius opposing, good Lord, one of the biggest planets, Jupiter in Gemini. So something regarding your ninth house of long distance travel, foreigners, or higher education. Um, the conversations there, the agreements there, the debates there, um, is 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 just opposing your third house of communication. So maybe there's a language barrier, because that's sometimes how the third and ninth house play out. Um, but again, listen to your November horoscope; it might give you more clues on that. So I will wrap it up here. Like I said, I just really wanted to get um, into this full moon for you guys and just give you some clues, and I hope I have done that. If you found this informative or even entertaining, please do consider subscribing, because half of you guys who listen are not subscribed, and it's free to subscribe, or at least smash that like button. It really helps me out, guys. All right, so Aries, take care of yourself. I will talk to you in December, if not earlier, because I have promised you guys other dedicated videos. And depending on my schedule as well, I will hopefully upload. Oh, and if you're subscribed, then you'll get notified on those videos. But I'll try to do that. If not, I will definitely talk to you guys in December. You guys take care of yourself. I will talk to you then.